10:10. This is the verse that we use for our ministry. We've used it all along. Let's see, I have it in the Amplified, so let's do it in the Amplified, guys. The thief comes only in order to what? Steal and kill and destroy. Say that again. The thief comes only but for to steal, kill, and destroy. Happy lies from the devil. He's constantly painting this beautiful picture for you. Did you know he was the grandest artist that you have ever seen? He can paint the most beautiful pictures and make everything look so absolutely wonderful for you. He does such a tremendous job of it. He's got to be the greatest artist that there ever was. Or elsewise, why would so many people fall for his lies? Because he makes them look so happy and so fun. Until you get right in the middle of them. And then what happens? You're right in the middle of them and you think you're having fun, and he jerks the rug right out from underneath you. And down you go. You're headed for a fall. Because that's who he is. So we're going to talk for a few minutes about happy lies. 1 Peter 5:7-8 in the King James says this. Well, let's finish with that verse. Let's leave it, put it back up there for just a minute. Yeah, you still have it. Hannah, whoever's up there doing that, that was really good of you. It says, but I came that they might have life and enjoy life, have it in abundance to the full till it overflows.
Glory to God.
Now let's distinguish something right here for just a minute. Say we have two teams, okay? We have the team that gives us good things, okay? Everything they give us is good. It never is bad. Everything it is good. What color team y'all want that team to be? White? Ah, white. The white team. Okay? The good team is the white team. Now we have this team. I'm not calling y'all bad. No, come over here. Okay. So then we have this team over here. Okay? And it's the bad team. What color is it? Black. Okay? And everything it gives you is bad. Everything it gives you is bad. Now here's where the problem comes in. People have a hard time deciding which team they're going to play on. Some days they play on the white team, and some days they play on the black team. And some days they wind up in the middle being gray. I'm serious about this. Therefore, that is where gloom and doom and agony, how's that song go? What is it? What was it on hee-haw? Come on, Rob, help me out here. Gloom and despair and agony on me. If it weren't for bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. You remember that song? Yeah. That's where you wind up. If you're not black and you're not white, what are you? You're gray. And what did God say he liked about lukewarm? You ever seen a little baby spit anything out? It don't look so good after they've chewed on peas or something for a while, does it? We got two teams here. Okay? We got the white team and we got the black team. We need to choose sides on which one we're going to go on. Let's read the next verse that I was telling you about. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. It says, casting all your care upon him because he cares for you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walks about seeking whom he may devour. Now, who is your adversary? Now, which team are you on? White. Let me see your hand if you're on the white team. Raise your hand. Let me look real close here. Put up Branson. I need to see their hands. Give me a chance. They'll be up there by the time. Keep your hands up, Branson, until I get this chance to look at you. I'm going to look through the screen and see the internet, too. Let's see. Hands, hands, hands. I think everybody in here's hand is on the white team. Okay, everybody's on the white team in here. Y'all see Branson? I think everybody is on the white team. Can y'all zoom in a little bit so I can see that a little better? Yeah, wave your hands so I can see them real good. Wave them crossways, long ways. Yeah, so we can see the movement there. Yeah, y'all are all on the white team. I see it now. Everybody's on the white team. Okay, good. Good. Everybody's on the white team. So nobody's on the black team. Right? Okay, so what does it mean then to be sober, be vigilant? Because your adversary, the devil, the black team, is constantly looking for players. That black team is always losing, so it's constantly looking for people to play on its team. It's constantly looking to come and tap you on the shoulder and get you to do things for it so they can win. It's constantly trying to get you to see things its way so that they can have more players. Because you saw how many people in here raised its hand. We don't want any of our white team players going over to that side. But what's happening is we're losing white team players. Because people are not sticking to what side they want to be on and standing firm. And do you know why? Because the devil is really good. He's kind of like some of those scouts that you see in football. At dangling a lot of things in front of people. Have you ever seen some of those scouts that you hear about? They've got lots of money. And what do they call those things? Bonuses or frills or perks. Yeah, those things. Huh? Cars, yeah. He's dangling cars. And he's dangling houses. And he's dangling women. Huh? And he's dangling whatever they want in front of them. And so even the good players that know better, that it's not really the team that they want to play for, because maybe they don't like their morals or maybe they don't like the way they do things, but because of all the perks, what happens? They get enticed. And they wind up on this other team that they would never have gone for. But because of all those things that's getting dangled in front of them, they think, you know what? They ain't really that bad. Not really, they're not. When you get around them and get to know them a little bit, they're not really as bad as everybody says they are. Really, they're not. Huh? Wrong. What did this verse say? Be sober. Be vigilant. Because who? Your adversary. The devil is as a roaring lion seeking who he can devour. He can't just devour you if you stay on the white team. But if you start getting in the gray area and getting off the white team and start going after those perks and those things that the other team has, then you become lion food. How many want to be lion food? That's what we become when we do that. We become food that the devil can just come and chomp us up and eat us up, whether it's our body or our finances or our marriage or our kids. The devil can do nothing to us unless we let him in. But we got to let him in. He's seeking who he may devour. But if you stay over here on the white team and you're solid as a rock and you say, nah, I see that car. That's a good looking car, ain't it? Yeah. I see that nice house and I ain't had heat in 2 months. I see that car and my fender's off of mine and I hadn't got a heater, or here you really wouldn't care, hadn't got an air conditioner. And they're going to give me one. If I'll just hang out with them, I know they got money and they'll give me one. What is your flesh saying?
Happy lies.
Happy lies. It's moving you just a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Just a little bit closer. And you really were happy, but then you start getting in that gray area. And then this little bad thing happens. And this little bad thing happens. And people start being nitpicky at work. And this little thing happens to where your family starts not getting along. And your wife starts getting a little cranky, or your husband starts getting a little cranky. Or the kids start getting in trouble at school. Or you get in an accident, or something, you start having headaches, or just little things start happening to you, and you start wondering how come. All of a sudden, things started happening to me when they were going so well. Well, did you start making steps toward the other side? Start getting kind of in the gray area, in the gloom and doom area? Start believing some of the happy lies. What happens with people is, have you ever seen a little kid that is playing? Are they mostly happy? Mostly always. You see them and you don't even have to do anything. You play music and what do they start doing? Dancing. And they're running and they're playing. Well, what happens to them by the time they get to be an adult? They lose their joy. By the time most people become adults, they're rarely laughing. They're rarely having any joy. They're rarely doing anything that makes them happy or doing anything that fulfills them or anything. Well, what happens there? Is things start getting in that start pulling you to the other side a little bit. Do you remember the first thing that you did that on the inside of you, you went, oh. Well, when you get saved, all that's washed away.
Amen.
But what happens is the devil starts enticing again, and then you start feeling a little gray and gloomy again. Well, the devil doesn't want us to be full of joy. The devil has a plan for us. He has his part in our life. What is the devil's part in our life? To steal, to kill, and to destroy. So what I want us to do tonight is I want us to look at situations in people's lives, and I want us to decide which team that's actually from. Do you understand? Which team would it be from? Okay, say for instance that a situation happens and you just had a spat with your spouse over spending too much money shopping. Which team did that come from? The black team. And what about the person that spent too much money? That got enticed to spend too much money. Where did that come from?
Black team. Devil.
Huh?
The devil.
It is a happy lie. Let me explain. You're out shopping. And you decide, this is going to make me happy. I deserve it. Huh? Do you understand what I'm saying? And for the moment, what does it do? It makes you happy. Till you get home, and what happens to the happy? The rug is pulled out from under you, and there's no more happy, and you've wound up in Grayville. And that happy is not there, and all of a sudden, you're right on the devil's turf, right where he wants you, choosing the wrong side. What about when you're at work and the boss says, who did this? Who made this mistake? And nobody takes the blame. And everybody points the finger at you. And you know you can take responsibility for it, or you can blame everybody around you and cause major havoc and major turmoil. Huh? What do you do? What you have to do in every situation, every thought that comes to your mind, if I take this $5 from the petty cash drawer, it's going to make me happy now because it's going to get me out of this mess I'm in right this instant. But what's going to happen in 30 minutes or an hour? Huh? That gray area is going to come in. And something on the inside of you is going to start going, That gloom and doom area is going to come in. And you're going to feel bad. And that happy is going to turn out to be a lie. And you're no longer going to be happy because the devil lied to you. What about that pretty woman over there or that good-looking man over there? The devil always makes them look better than they do. Always. He paints the best picture, and you always see them better than they actually are. He is the best portrait painter. He's got one of those airbrushes that can paint out every flaw. I mean, you see these magazine covers where they don't have any fat, they don't have any cellulite, they don't have any wrinkles, they don't have nothing. They are perfect. They're just perfect. Now, you compare them to your spouse, and your spouse is down here and they're up here, The happy lie. Till somebody finds out. And that lust is gone, and you realize they have faults too, because if they had an affair with you, they're probably going to have one with somebody else. Huh? And the fun's gone, and nobody believes in you anymore, and nobody trusts you anymore. And what have you done? Do you see what I'm doing all the while? Yeah. How close am I? Very close. The devil wants you to get on the other team. And what he does is he brings you down. He brings your heart down. He brings your confidence down. He brings who you are in your self-worth down. And that's his game. That is his number one game. Because if he can bring your value down, he's won. Because the only way that you'll ever win is if you have value in yourself. And that is what Jesus did for us, is he gave us this value back. He made us white as snow. That's why we say white. He made us clean. He made us white. The things that we do determines if we stay depressed or upset, or if we stay totally out of it, pulled in a room with a blanket cover over our head because we're so upset. And you can stay at any point of this, depending on which one you yield to. You can go as far extreme as you want. You can start out by, it's Sunday morning and you decide, I just want to lay in the bed, I feel lazy today. How does your Sunday afternoon really go? Do you really feel great about your Sunday afternoon then? Most of the time you think, you know what, I really could have been in church. There really wasn't nothing wrong with me. But the devil won that battle.
Yeah.
He got you on his team for that day. You want a goal for his team that day. And none of us want to do that. We want to win all the goals for God. Right. I mean, that's what we want to do. So let's look at some ways that we're able to do that. You know, what people do, and as I was thinking about this, the Lord showed me this just so plainly. What people do is they don't like the way that things are in their life. And to me, it's like this. It's like a garden. Anybody ever planted a garden in here? What about Branson? Anybody over there ever plant a garden? And the internet? I didn't forget you out there. I think we have more of them on the white team out there. I'm sure we do. All of them's on the white team. Branson, put them up there. Yeah, they're up there. Y'all ever planted a garden? Look at all them people. They country folk. They from Arkansas and Missouri up there. I know they know how to plant a garden. Yeah. Somebody gave Keith some fresh purple hull peas the other day, and he was one happy man. He had a smile from ear to ear. Talk about a man that likes vegetables. It's him. Anyway, plant a garden. You get the garden going, and right into it, you get real busy. And you don't get to go out there and spend any time with it, and weeds start growing up around your plants. But the plants are still growing. But there's a lot of weeds around your plants. A lot of problems because of the weeds. And then also maybe some bugs get on it. Maybe some, I don't know, some kind of little disease or something gets on it. And maybe that's just like your life. Maybe you're like a plant in the garden. And maybe your life is like, you've been out there, and you got a lot of weeds around you, things is entangled around you, problem here, problem there, it's twisted all around you. Maybe you got a few little bugs gnawing at you. Maybe you got this little sickness bothering you also. Now, you've got a choice at that point in time in your life or in your garden. You can go out there to that garden and you can say, I have had it with this garden, and you can take a tractor and plow the whole thing up. Plow the whole thing under, plow it over, and go start someplace else. Do you know that is what 84% of married couples are doing today? Starting over because they got a few little weeds and a few little bugs and a few little blight. So they're just uprooting their garden and throwing it away. Do you know what they're doing after that? They're going and planting another garden from scratch. And do you know how long it's going to take? They almost had vegetables in their garden. They were almost ready to eat the fruits of what their garden had produced. They were almost ready to not have to do all the work in their garden. They were almost ready to be able to sit down and taste and see that the Lord is good. But instead, they let a few little things that the devil did come in and tangle some weeds around them, get a few little bites, and a few little hiccups here and there, make them decide to just pull up root and destroy it. When all they had to do, how many of you said you had a garden? Okay, keep your hands up just a minute. How many of you that had a garden ever used a hoe? Or a tiller, a blade that would turn the soil over around the plants. Before, later now we've gotten more modern, but a lot of us had to use a hoe. And Keith's grandpa had a mule and a plow. And you'd go through there and you'd clean up around those plants. And man, it would look so pretty. And then you'd take some kind of spray and spray it. Get rid of the bugs. Get rid of the blight. And then you'd go out there and you could pick some of the most beautiful vegetables you have ever seen. Not like you get in the grocery store. Real vegetables.
Real ripe.
Yeah, real ripe vegetables. Not green.
Unwaxed.
Yeah, unwaxed ones.
Yeah. Glory to God. Yes.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Sometimes things in your life need a little work. They need somebody to come in there, take a little hoe, cut out the weeds, take a little spray around it. But it wouldn't take long. But the devil has convinced you with his happy lies that you would be happier over here. Or you would be happier without them. Or your life would be better without them. Or without that situation. What does he come in to do? Tell me again. Would that be stealing anything?
Sure. Absolutely.
Would that be killing anything?
Yes.
Would that be destroying anything? Your life. Your food. When all it would take is just a wee little bit to get it right. But he doesn't want to show you that you're so close to getting the harvest of what you've sown all these years. He wants you to think it's the worst thing possible. And it doesn't have to be. A lot of times people think that other people's lives are so much better. I know, Amy's sitting back there in the back, and she's wondering what in the world is she going to tell about me tonight. Yes. But, everybody is different. And like she'll come over to the house and she'll say, Mrs. Moore, can I rearrange your cabinets? Can I do this? Can I do that? And you think, well, everybody is so totally different. One area that is so important to you may not be so important to another person. And so what you've got to look at is as you live your life, you've got to find out the things that are important to God in your life for you. And you've got to realize that, yes, this person may be really, really strong in this area. That doesn't make them strong in every area.
That's right.
Amen.
It makes them strong in that area.
Yes, yes. That's why we need.
And you may be strong in this area. And he may be strong in this area. And Rob may be strong in this area. But what happens is people begin looking at each other and they begin saying, you're no good. You're absolutely no good because you can't do that. But what's happened is people have gotten out of the place that God intended for them to be in, and the devil has told them lies that this would make them happy, and so they're in the wrong place because they're not where they're supposed to be, because the devil has them in a place that they're defeated. Because they followed after the perk instead of after God. So they're in the gray, in the doom and gloom and depression. When God's way is going to make them happy. And it's going to give them their joy. Amen. So the devil's plan is to steal, to kill, and destroy. He has a job to do. That's his job, to steal, kill, and destroy. Every time a situation arises in your life, you should look at it. Instantly, you should stop and say, okay, I'm about to do this. Will it steal? Will it kill? Will it destroy? Oh, do I want to play on the devil's team? Oh, nope. And turn around and go the other way. Whether you can see the result or not, know that if it's the devil's things that's going to steal, kill, or destroy, it's going to bring destruction of some kind. Even if you can't see it. If it's talking about somebody, if it's not in love, anything that will steal from someone, kill something in someone, destroy something in someone, it is the devil's team. We don't want any part of that team. We only want to be on God's team. Right? So what is our part? If that's the devil's part, we have a part. Do you want to know what your part is? All right, let's find out what our part is. All right. Our part is so much easier. Let me read you this verse first, and then we'll get into our job. 2 Corinthians 4:4. And this will make you understand it really clear. In the New Living. What is that first word? Okay, now everybody say it with me. What's that first word? Satan. Okay, now the rest of you. Satan. 1, 2, 3. Satan is the god of this world. Satan is the god of this world. Now, I don't want you scared, and he's not going to come in here with a pitchfork and red suit on. But the devil, Satan, Lucifer, is the god of this world. And he has access in our lives in this world. And he can do things in our lives in this world. And he can torment you, and he can play games with you if you let him. But only if you let him. Let's read a few verses. Okay? 1 Thessalonians 5:16, if you guys would, in the King James. And while they're putting it up, let me tell you this. The devil will put traps in your life how often? Huh? Every day, won't he? Every day. He will try and trip you up and steal from you and take from you and do everything he can to get you on his team. Every day. But we don't have to fall for him.
No, we do not.
We ain't that dumb.
No.
Now, all of y'all in here ain't blonde, so you're smarter than me. Right? We don't have to fall for his stuff. Okay? So our job, 1 Thessalonians 5:16. What does that say? Let's just keep reading some. Amplified. Just the first couple of words. Be happy and rejoice. And be glad-hearted when? Continually. The NIV. These are real hard verses Can you tell? Be joyful always. The Message Bible. Wait a minute. Let's all read that one together. And 1, 2, 3. Be cheerful. No matter what. Wait a minute. Yeah. Be cheerful no matter what. Be cheerful no matter what. The New Living. Always be joyful. The Bible in Basic English. Let's see if we can get this point. Have joy at all times. Are we seeing a pattern here? Young's literal. Always rejoice. Who is ye? Yeah. And then the easy to read. Always what? Okay. Now, I have a question. Are you ready? Yes. Is it hard to be full of joy when you cross the line into the gray and into the black? Yes. Very hard. So we want to stay out of the gray and out of the black, right? Yes. But what is our job?
To be joyful. Always.
Do you have a job? Yes. What's your job?
Be joyful.
Be joyful. Do you have a job?
Yeah,
What is it?
Be joyful.
What's your job?
Be joyful.
Sure.
Have joy at all times.
Job?
Be joyful.
Be joyful. Always rejoice. Be joyful. But if you're having a bad day. And if somebody flirted with your wife, you're still going to be joyful. Somebody stole all your money.
Rejoice.
Uh-huh.
Pray for them.
Pray for them, uh-huh. Somebody beat one of your kids. Uh-huh. What you going to do? Uh-huh. You can't even say it, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Going to be full of joy. Uh-huh. Somebody slaps you.
Rejoice.
Yeah, you would for that, but what if they slapped her? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. She didn't know. You'd still need to rejoice. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Yeah. We got to rejoice always. When the devil kicks your feet out from under you, when he steals everything you got, when he messes with your family, when he messes with your money, when he messes with your kids, when he messes with your health, when he messes with your mind, when he messes with everything you know, what's your job?
Be joyful.
Be joyful always. Be full of joy. Don't let him know he's winning. Don't give him any ground. Don't let him see you hurting. Don't let him know that he bothered you. Be happy. Be full of joy. Let's read those one more time. Start at the beginning again. I think some people still need to know it. 1 Thessalonians 5:16. King James. What does that say? Everybody read them with me. Branson, are you reading? Wait a minute. Branson, are they reading? Internet people, are y'all reading? Put the popcorn away, the sandwich, the pizza. You can't read with your mouth full. Okay, get ready. All right. Rejoice evermore. Okay? The next one was amplified. Be happy and rejoice. Be glad-hearted continually, always. When is always not?
Never.
Never. Okay? NIV. Be joyful always. The Message. Be cheerful no matter what. The New Living. Always be joyful. The Bible in Basic English.
Have joy at all times.
All times means Even when your boss made you work an 18-hour day. Even when your boss blamed you for things you didn't do. Even when your brother, he stole the whole inheritance. Huh? Even when somebody wrecked your car in the parking lot, they just hit it and left. Huh? Always?
Yes.
Even when your wife burned the bacon. Huh?
Yeah.
Even if your wife does the same thing you told her not to do 500 times. Huh? Huh? Even if your husband leaves his clothes all over the place, or his dishes, or he doesn't pick up his tools, or he watches football 24/7. Huh? 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 Even if somebody calls you in the middle of the night. Even when that telemarketer calls you. Huh? Even when the people are driving too slow in front of you. Even when somebody in the grocery store line has more than 10 items. Huh? Even when you have to wait at the beauty shop or to get your nails done or at the doctor's office and you've got 12 other appointments. You should grumble. That's the time to grumble and let somebody know about it. And let them have a piece of your mind. Huh? When they mess up that phone bill and overcharge you, you have a right not to be joyful and show them just how you feel. Because they've done it over and over and over again. Huh? Huh? When you've told your teenager, come in at 11:30 or 12 o'clock 100 times, and it's 2 o'clock every time when they come in. Huh? Always is what? Is always. Now, I didn't write that verse. I'm sorry. You could possibly get off the hook if just your pastors wrote it. But you know what? This is the Bible. And that's the book for me. I stand alone on the Word of God, the Bible. You never heard that? Yeah, okay, there you go. So here we are. We are in Young's Literal. Let's change that. Always rejoice me. Yeah, exactly. Basic Bible. Bible in Basic English. That means even at 6 o'clock in the morning when you have to get up and go to work and it's raining. All times. All times. It means that we are supposed to be joyful all the time. It means that there should never be a time that we do not have joy. Never. No matter what anybody does to us or what anybody says about us, if they put your picture on the front page of the newspaper and tell what a horrible person you are and tell all these lies about you, you have joy. Or the PTA, all the parents in school find out something that you would never want anybody to know. What should you do? You should have joy. And I'll tell you why here in a minute. But what is your job? When you have joy, there's something that can happen. But you got to be settled on your job. There's two things you should do. Number one is always look at everything and see whose team you're on. You must choose sides. Whose side are you on? Whose side? Do you want the things of the world and all the perks of the world? Or do you actually want God's things? You have to decide. Because if things are going not so good, why? Okay? Then the second thing is you have to rejoice always. There's never an occasion for you to murmur and complain and be down and be sad. Never. It's never okay. Never. Never, 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 never okay. Because he told us to rejoice always. And always means every moment of every second of every day. It's like the clock that's on the wall there. Okay, so it's 9 o'clock right now. So between 9 and 9:05, we get to not rejoice.
No. Don't think so.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Always means every moment of every second of every day. There's never a time that you can say, this is me time, and I get to get in the tub and feel sorry for myself. There's never that time. What you've got to look at is begin to see immediately when it starts to steal your joy, whose side are you getting on? Because what is it doing? Stealing. And what was that thing who does that? So if it's stealing your joy, you're going over to what? Huh? And we don't want to play on that team. Because even though you don't understand it, the moment that he starts to steal your joy, you're headed for bad things. You may not see it, but because it is yielding to that side, it is stealing something from you. And it's going to be bad. It's going to turn out bad. Because playing for that team is never good. Okay? So let me tell you then this, and then we'll find out what God's part is. Galatians 5:22. I like to say this while they put up in the NIV. Joy, to me, is something that is inside of us. Joy is something we live with. Joy is who we are. Keith has a song, I'm full of joy and I got the victory. Joy is part of us. It's inside of us. And you'll understand why here in just a minute. Happy is, and I think you'll understand it, Keith has referred to it a few times. My mom, this is my sister. Stand up. Y'all haven't met her. This is my sister, Sandra, my oldest sister, and her husband, Jim. Stand up. They're here with me. But my mom, yes, my mom, always, all of our lives, she'd see something, and it probably didn't cost a lot of times $1, $2, $3. Sometimes it did. Sometimes it costed more. Maybe $50. I don't know. But all the time, she was all the time buying us something. And she'd come to us and she'd send it to us in the mail. Or when she'd see us, she'd say, here's just a little happy for you.
Aww, yes.
She did it all the time. Didn't she do it all the time? All the time. Or it'd be sitting on our bed, just a little happy or a note. And it was all of our lives. She'd say, here's just a little happy for you.
Yeah.
So to me, happy is what you become because of a circumstance. Happy, a momentary something. He says rejoice, have joy always. And you'll see why I'm saying this after I read you this next verse. Happy is something that you get exuberant for a few moments. Happy! Oh, you're happy. Because of something somebody did for you. or something that happened, or you got engaged, you're happy. How long does that happy stay there sometimes? Huh? You understand what I'm saying now, right? Okay, let's look at this verse and you'll see why I'm talking this way. Galatians 5:22. It says, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Joy is a fruit of the Spirit. Joy is something that comes from God. I will explain. Have you ever seen anybody in the world super patient, kind, goodness, faithfulness? All these things are things that come from God. The world does not have joy, so it cannot give it to you. People are looking to the world to fulfill their joy. They think that if I can just get this house, my joy will be full. Will it? If I can just get this car, my joy will be full. If I can just get this mate, my joy will be full. If I can just look like this and lose all this weight or gain all this weight, my joy will be full. How many of you know people that have got big fancy homes and are divorced or broke up? Or how many of you that know that you, even your own self, how many of you thought, be honest for a second, got a new car and you thought, man, that's really going to make me happy. And when you got the new car after 6 months, wasn't the thing that made you as happy as what you thought? Huh? Or the new house. It was going to satisfy every desire you ever had. Or that piece of jewelry. Or that man. Or that woman. Did it fulfill every desire you ever had? Do you understand what I'm saying? Did it fulfill the joy in your heart? Did it give you the fulfillment that you were looking for? Absolutely not. It can't. Because the world can't put in you anything but to steal. Because who is the God of this world? The God of this world can only take things from you. He can't give you anything. He has nothing to give. The only person that can give you anything good is God. So if you want joy, where should you be looking? So why are so many people all over the universe confused by the fact that they're going to have joy when they can do this, be this, have that, go here, go there, when all the devil will do is take from them. And all God will do is give to them. Put that verse back up there. Let's see where it was, just for a second. It's right here somewhere. The one Satan has, the God of the world, this world. Y'all have it real quick. Y'all remember what verse it is? Yeah, there it is. Here it is. 2 Corinthians 4:4. Satan, who is the God of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. So what he does is he totally takes people's minds and blinds them to the fact that they can get what they want in the world and not from God. He blinds people to thinking that their answer is with the world and not with God. But they can never get anything from the world because the devil doesn't have anything to give but bad. He is come to do what? Steal, kill, and destroy. So what we have to do is we have to look to God for our joy. So if you've been looking to the world to fulfill you and give you joy, or looking to the world to give you your money, or looking to the world to give you your things, the first place you have to go is to look to God to give you your joy. Then when you do that, then all the other things are going to start coming to you, because you're going to be playing on the right team then.
Yes.
Look at this verse, and I think you'll start understanding it. God's part. Your part is to decide which team you're on. Your part is to stay in joy no matter what. Understand who the devil is. This is God's part. Psalm 5, verse 11 in the King James. Let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy. Now read the next 3 or 4 words. Because what? Whose part is that? Because God defends them. What does He defend them from? Everything that they need defending from. He will defend you from the person that's telling lies about you. He'll defend you from the accident that you didn't have. He'll defend you from the person that's being mean to you. He'll defend from the person that's trying to steal from you. He'll defend from the person that's trying to beat you. He'll defend from the person that's trying to take things away from you. Whatever it is, He will defend you. That's His part. But what was your part? Let Him shout for joy. How much shouting for joy have we been having going on? So how much defending has been going on? Not enough. Not enough. Let them also that love my name be joyful in thee. The Amplified says it this way. But let all those who take refuge and put their trust in you rejoice. Let them sing and shout for joy. Do you get up in the morning singing and shouting for joy? Or do you get up in the morning going, rah, 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 rah? My little girl dog, if you could just see her. She is a card. She grumbles. She wants to get out the door. She goes, she grumbles. She is the funniest thing. She don't bark, she grumbles. She sees a lizard. She wants to catch the lizard. That's what she does. She grumbles. And I say, if you'll bark, I'll let you out. We don't do grumbling. But she grumbles. We don't want to be grumblers like that, okay? Do you know that they stayed in the wilderness for 40 years because why? They grumbled. They grumbled and complained. We're not like those people, right? No, we're supposed to be full of joy. Okay? The Amplified says, but let all those who take refuge and put their trust in you rejoice. Let them ever sing and shout for joy.
Hallelujah.
Joy, because you make a covering over them and defend them. Let those also who love your name be joyful in you and be in what? High spirits. Not down and depressed and gloomy and doomy and sad and grumbling and murmuring and complaining. That ain't us. That's somebody else playing on the what team? The black team. Yeah. Then Psalm 16:11 says this is God's part too. Thou wilt show me, this is King James, the path of life. Have you been confused about what way to go? Are you unsure about what way to go? Are you trying to get some direction about what way to go? In your presence is fullness of joy. When you're in the right place, fullness of joy. It's not talking about you being in some trance and you're just standing there and your eyes are closed and you just got to be lifted up in the glory and in a cloud to be in God's presence. It's talking about when you're doing what He wants you to do. And you're in His presence and you're in His place and you're doing the thing He wants you to do. You're going to be full of joy. I'm just a happy person. Full of joy. What about you? Huh? What about the rest of y'all? That's a good time to make a confession. I'm just a happy person and full of joy. What about you?
Amen.
You too?
Yes.
You too? I added this to it at the last minute, and I think you'll want to know it. It says, how can I do that? Huh? How can I do that? Well, Keith has a saying. This is it. Doubt, D-O-U-B-T, despairs, complains, and is sad. Faith rejoices, gives thanks, and is glad. Doubt despairs, complains, and is sad. Faith rejoices, gives thanks, and is glad. The way that you can be rejoicing and full of joy is because you start believing it's going to be better. You start expecting things to be better because you cast it all over on the Lord. You can't fix it anyway. You've been trying for 110 years. You ought to know by now you ain't changing her. He ain't changing you. You can't change that boss. You can't. Just realize God can. He's the only one that can. So leave it in His hands. Start expecting things to get better and you'll get some joy. Start getting some joy and things will start looking better. It's kind of like the chicken and the egg. If you start getting some joy, automatically the devil will start getting off your back because he'll think, this ain't working. This ain't working for me. Okay, Nehemiah 8:9 in the Living Bible says this. And I thought it was very interesting. Then Ezra the priest, and I as governor, and the Levites who were assisting me said to them, don't cry on such a day as this, for today is a sacred day before the Lord your God. It is time to celebrate with a hearty meal and to send presents to those in need. For the joy of the Lord is your strength. Everybody say that with me. For the joy of the Lord is your strength. Now, how many of you knew that verse? Raise your hand. A lot of people knew that verse. But do you know what goes with that verse? Listen to this. For the joy of the Lord is your strength. You must not be dejected and sad. And the Levites too quieted the people, telling them, that's right, don't weep, for this is the day of holy joy and not sadness. Why was it a day of holy joy and not sadness? So the people went away to eat a festive meal and to send presents. This last part, get it? It was a time of great and joyful celebration because they could hear and understand the words of God, or God's words. Why were they supposed to have a party? Nobody got it. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Start. Put it back up there, Ezra. Y'all know me better than that. Okay, Ezra, the priest, and the governor, and the Levites were assisting me. And he said to them, don't cry on such a day as this. Today is a sacred day before the Lord. It is time to celebrate with a hearty meal. He's telling them to celebrate. Today, celebrate. Why is he telling them to celebrate? And to send presents to those in need. For the joy of the Lord is your strength. You must not be dejected and sad. And the Levites too quieted the people, telling them, that's right, don't weep. For this is a day of holy joy and not sadness. So the people went away to eat a festive meal and to send presents. It was a time of great and joyful celebration. Why was it a time of great and celebration? What does because mean? This is why. They could hear and understand God's words. We should be having a big party in here. And getting presents, yeah. It had to come from a woman. She said, and getting presents. Yes. We should be celebrating and having a big feast. Did anybody get anything out of understanding that if you yield to anything that's stealing or killing or destroying, that is the devil's side? When you yield to anything like that, you're yielding to the devil. We don't want to yield to that. We want to stay in joy. Did you learn that? Then you should be celebrating. That is reason enough to have joy. Because you don't want to play on the devil's team. If you just learn that one thing, the devil is bad. He's black. It's bad. It's not good. And it's never going to be good. And nothing he can ever give you is ever going to be good. Don't play with him. Don't play on his team. Don't think that anything he can give you is ever going to be good. Because it's not. It's like Brother Hagin used to say. He said, I like cornbread. He said, but I ain't going to reach down in some pig trough to get a piece of cornbread around all the slop, no matter how good the cornbread was. And that's the way the devil's stuff is. A lot of people are trying to reach into the devil's turf to grab something that they want, and when they do, the devil grabs hold to them and pulls them in. We don't want nothing this world's got. God has got so much better. Anything that this world's got is a fake imitation of what God has. God has so much better, and he gives us so much better. I've been in both places, I'm telling you. This world has nothing to offer you that God does not have. The real, the better, the good. He will provide it better for you, and he won't hurt you.
Hallelujah.
The devil will try and provide it for you and leave you hanging and hurt you all the way. So make the decision. It's time to celebrate and choose what side you're on and quit believing the devil's happy lies. I'm going to make you happy if you'll do this. What did he tell Jesus? Go back to the time, the temptation in the wilderness. I'll give you the world and all the kingdoms thereof. Well, he could do it, but did Jesus want it that way? No. You don't want anything he has to offer. Because yes, he can do some things, but when you get it, it's not going to be what it looked like. Because when the mask is removed, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be bad. It's going to be like some of those Transformers and things. When they take the real mask off, they look like the horriblest things you ever seen in your life. We don't want no part of that, right? We want the good. So stand up with me on your